it really depends, I guess, on the type of job they want, and also how the young person is marketing themselves. You know, in my current job, I get a lot of young people saying, "I've looked online, but I can't find any jobs."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, what
there
have you
are
looked
other
at?"
places to look. Yeah.
That's right, and they may be making their search too wide
Yeah.
and saying, "I just want anything, so I've got money."
Yeah.
Well, that's not really going to get you anywhere.
No.
When you go to an employer and say, "These are the days I can work. This is what I would like to do," and then that employer can say, "Sorry, we can't offer you that," or "Oh, yes, actually, that's what we're looking for." And I encourage young people and anyone really to still do it the old-fashioned way and go and drop resumes off. And meet the person and ask questions.
I
and
agree
network.
100%. I give young people that advice too.
Yeah,
that if you appear in person, that's got to be worth 1,000 emails.
Absolutely, yeah, and it'll get you ahead of the line. And it shows the employer that you've made the effort to go there and you know, put yourself out there.
Well, I know that when I was a manager, if the secretary said, "Look, Brian McAleer is downstairs, he wants to talk to you," and I've never heard of Brian McAleer, I'd say, "What does he want?" "Oh, he's after a job." If I was busy, I'd say, "No, tell him to go away." But if I wasn't busy right at that time, I'd say, "Oh, yeah, send him up, might as well talk to him."
Yep.
So there's some chance of getting past the gatekeeper if you actually appear in person.
That's right, and it's being prepared for the responses like, "Oh, there's nothing going at the moment," or "The manager's not here." You can be like, "Well, can I leave a resume?" Or "When would be a good time to speak to the manager?" Or if you're not offering paid work, "Can I maybe come and do a work trial, like a day's work experience?"
All of the above. If nothing else, it shows initiative.
That's right, it shows initiative. And, you know, at the end of the day, you can get something out of it, you know, and you add it to your list and be like, "All right, well, I'll check this place again in another month. Maybe something will come up." So,
that's right.
So these are the things I do with young people. I encourage them to develop these skills.
Good.
Yeah.
It's 16 minutes past 2, folks, and I'm talking with Brian McAleer, who's a life coach and an author. And you're listening to Mess Around, and we have all sorts of people talking about all sorts of weird and wonderful things. If you'd like to come on the show and talk about your weird and wonderful things, do drop me a line to ijm@3wbc.org.au. That's I for impressive, J for judicial, M for masterful, ijm@3wbc.org.au. Brian, life coaches, as you said, are only a newish profession. Do you have any idea how many there'd be around the country?
Well, actually, when I got my qualification back in 2009, there was something like 3,000 accredited coaches.
So there's quite a few
around Australia. That's probably doubled in that time as it's become more aware. There's a lot of people that practice at life coaches who haven't studied life coaching, which is fine as well.
There's a degree course, is there?
There are qualifications, yeah. So I have got my certificate 4 in life coaching, and there's also the diploma of life coaching and advanced diploma and all that. So yeah, I did the course and attended classes all online, and you know, was part of learning groups and everything. So yeah, I went down the very kind of professional way. But yeah, so really it's hard to tell how many coaches are out there, and they're quite easy to find, and coaches tend to specialise in a certain area. We call it, you know, your niche. So having a niche is really important if you're interested in life coaching, and that could be, you know, connected to your past work experience or something completely new and different. You know, the possibilities are endless, really.
So what's your niche?
Youth empowerment coaching.
Okay.
Yep. So
that's the main thing.
That's the main thing. So working with young people and those closest to them.
Yeah, that's pretty good, because the youth of today are the ones who need more help than
definitely anybody. Yeah, and there's a lot of young people out there that traditional methods and things don't always work for them. So what I offer is that alternative. It's like, well, if that hasn't worked, try this.
Right, so I'm a young person. I'm not really, folks. Don't get carried away, but I'm pretending here. I was once. I'm a young person, and I, for whatever reason, I decide, gee, I really think a life coach would do me some good. So I get hold of Brian McAleer. How often do I see you? Every week? Every day?
Yeah, usually it's a weekly arrangement, and like I'll do sort of 8 or 9 sessions with the client, and depending on how intensive their goals are and how much support they need, usually it's weekly. In some cases it might be fortnightly, and I'll do it in person or over the phone, or I use Skype these days, which is great because it's free, so it saves the cost of a phone call. And sessions usually go for about an hour to an hour and a half, at whatever time suits the coach and the client. You know, we'll work something out.
But there's an hourly fee, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So, do you do anybody outside of Australia? If you're Skyping, you theoretically could do anybody.
You can, yeah. That's the beauty of the internet, is you can connect with people over the world. So at the moment, no, my clients have all been in Australia, but I have a very sort of strong presence on the internet, and I use all the social networking tools. And YouTube, for example, I have a few videos I've uploaded to YouTube and recordings of previous interviews, which people from other countries have come across.
And they can look at that.
And they can look at it, and they've
That's a really
contacted
good
me,
idea.
which is fantastic.
Yeah.
This motivational video I made a couple of years ago, one day I looked at it and it had sort of 350 views. I thought, okay, that's pretty standard. It's been online for about a year. The next day I looked and it had 1,000 views. And then I put this message out saying...
What happened?
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I put this message out and I said, who's been watching my video? This woman from the Netherlands replied and said, I found your video. We showed it at a conference to 1,000 people.
Ah, okay.
And I'm like, great. Fantastic.
Yeah, well, that is great. But,
Yeah.
but was there any upshot of that? Or?
Not directly. It was more of a inspirational video. It wasn't really, leading people to contact me. It was just more
But they
about...
thought it was pretty good.
They thought it was all right. They showed it at a big conference. So that was, that just shows you the power of, the internet and how far your ideas can reach sometimes.
I've mentioned on this show several times that the internet has just changed the whole world. Just the way we operate has just completely changed the whole world.
Definitely.
I don't think people realise it quite yet.
No.
It's only been around for like 30 years, but in another 100 years they're going to look back at 2010 maybe, and they're going to say, wow,
yeah,
look what changed.
Yeah, and the internet is such a great tool, and it's a great way to connect with people, and if you're looking to get yourself out there, it's the best way to do it.
Well, the best thing about it is that if you want to start your own business, the startup costs now are virtually zero.
That's right. Yeah, you can start your business on a Facebook page these days, and no cost, and get 1,000 people following your page. And I utilise that quite a lot myself, and other sites like LinkedIn.
I don't understand Facebook. I know you can like people, but
yeah, it's very useful. I find it really useful. Yeah.
All you young people know how to use it. I don't want to know.
I'm still trying to figure out Twitter, though. I haven't quite got that down.
I'm on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's like Facebook.
Yeah, LinkedIn's for professionals. That's a really good site as well.
Well, I joined that when I was working full time.
Yep.
Since I retired, I don't need it. So I still get these emails every other day saying, Fred Nurk wants you to join his whatever. And you can't get off LinkedIn.
No.
I have searched their site about 10 times. There's no unsubscribe. You can't get off it. It's like going to IKEA. You can't get out.
You can't get out once you're in. That's it.
That's right.
It's just about managing it and not getting overwhelmed.
Is
That's
Facebook like that? Is there an easy way out of Facebook? Do you know?
You can always just cancel your account if you want to. But,
can you? 'Cause
yeah.
LinkedIn you can't.
Oh, you can't. Oh.
Can't get out of there, I'm telling you. You're there forever.
Well, thanks for that.
It's like the Hotel California. You can check out, but you can't leave.
That's it, yeah. They get quite addictive because it's just all this constant information being thrown at you, and it's very easy to get swept up in it, yeah.
So when you give group classes, what sort of numbers are we talking about? Do you do small groups or 100 at a time?
A bit of both. Yeah. Normally in the workshops I run might be 10 or 12 people. I've given talks at schools to 300-400 students at a time. So, depending on what it is, I can cater it for small groups, large groups, or even just one-on-one sort of consultations as well.
Whatever turns you on.
Yep, whatever the client needs, and I'll try and find a way to deliver.
Right, now you're big on setting goals. Your book's all about it. What are your goals? Where do you want to be in 10 years' time?
Oh, that's a great question, and it sort of changes and evolves all the time, and I'd like to be seen as one of the leading life coaches in Australia, especially around
I'm
youth.
sure you are already, Brian.
Well, I'm getting there. Around youth empowerment, and I would like to see... I've got lots of ideas for youth personal development programs I'd love to see delivered in schools or integrated into existing services, to teach kids life skills early, things like, communication and networking. And
well, I'm big on that too. The problem is with the schools that, in fact, the schools do have more of that content than what they did when I was at school. We learnt nothing. But they can't fit it all in. There's just not enough time in the day.
That's right.
And it's a cop-out. Really, the parents should be teaching the kids that.
Yeah.
It's not the school's job.
Well, it takes a village to raise a child, as the saying goes.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, so the school can help, the parents can help, youth workers, the sports coach. The adults in a young person's life are very important. And what I tell adults is that, lead by example, because everything you say or don't say or do or don't do is having an effect on the young people in your life. They're modelling the adults, as the adults that they'll become. They'll take certain parts of what you do and who you are to help them form their identity and who they'll become as adults. So knowing that and being aware of that is really important. Because
but there's just too many things to teach them in school. Like,
there is.
You've got to teach them financial skills and gambling and taxation and all these things
That's right.
they have to find out about.
Yeah.
It's really the parents' job.
Yeah, parents can definitely step in and help there, and that's how I can help parents, is how to have those conversations with young people. And I've got various exercises and strategies they can use if they're not sure how to strike up a conversation about a particular thing.
Well,
or
that's
how to
a
motivate
good thing.
them.
Yeah. A lot of people can't strike up a conversation.
It's
Sounds
a difficult
weird.
thing. Definitely, yeah. And quite often it's even harder with the people that are closest to us. So as a parent, it's sometimes even harder to talk to your own teenage son or daughter about a certain topic.
Yep.
But then, I've got strategies that I can
that
offer
thing about
parents.
familiarity breeds contempt.
That's right.
It's true.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely right. It's a well-known syndrome that you will tell things to a total stranger on an aeroplane that you would never tell your own family.
It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. And I think we're afraid those closest to us are going to judge us or tell us, no, don't do it.
I suppose that's what it is. Clearly there's some fear involved, otherwise you'd do it.
Yeah.
I haven't really analysed why you do that, but I know that people have told me things and I've told others things on planes. Why am I telling them that?
Yeah. Or even online, internet chat rooms. We'll talk to someone on the other side of the world, but not our own neighbour. It's an interesting thing, isn't it? But it's on the other hand, the people closest to us are the ones who can also lift us up the most, and
well, they're the ones that care,
who care and who know us best. And in my book, I talk about that when you're setting goals and you're setting out on this sort of journey, it's the people closest to you will either respond well and support you. Some of them might not, and they can potentially drag you down. So it's good. It's important to be aware of that as well. But